Hello and welcome to episode 231 of Checkpoint Chat. My name is Alessandro Barbosa, joined by Matthew Figuera, looking off to the side. Someone break in. I got you.
I was checking the temperature. It's really warm in here, but then when I look at the thermostat, it says it's 23.5, which isn't that hot. I'm going to point something inside.
That's quite warm.
I'm going to point something out to you, and you're never going to unsee it. And it'll only be for this episode, hopefully. Okay. My head is bigger than yours, and I can't fix it now. Unless I sit all the way back.
I did notice I was more zoomed out than usual. Like, there's a lot more.
I'm more zoomed in,
me.
I think.
Like,
I meant to fix it.
Are you more zoomed in? I feel like I'm more zoomed out.
Okay, well then you fix it. I don't think you can do it now.
I can't fix it.
Because Logitech software, it doesn't let you do stuff on the fly it's not the software's
you have to
fault.
Turn off your camera.
I'd have to turn off my camera, go to Logitech, blah blah blah. But it's funny because I noticed it last week. It's like, okay, before next week's recording, I have to fix that. And only now when we hit record, I'm like, damn it, my head's bigger than yours. What is going on? And now you've got this weird border around your screen again. Do you see that? Why does it do that? I'm just going to do this. I have to change scenes and then it doesn't sort itself out.
Wait, is it different on different scenes? That's so weird. Oh, now I've got a border around me. I don't know.
Yeah. So look, if I go to the news tab. Who
knows why any of this happens?
If I go to the news tab, you've got no border. It's perfect. Okay. But if I go back to our normal talking tab, that border's popped up for some reason. I have no idea why.
Hate to see it.
This
is great for audio listeners. They know, they know exactly what's
just
popping.
Imagine you can see what's going on.
What borders, what backgrounds, what heads. Yeah. I don't see heads
called
in my audio podcast. I just hear heads. Yeah.
Hear voices. And people next to you go,
I'm also noticing that we have like weird Discord issues today. Like the latency on our call is like incredibly high. So this is going to be fun.
Look,
it's going to be interesting.
That's probably what the problem is, because your picture's fine now. I didn't change a thing.
What?
The weird border, the black line is gone now. I don't know.
So do you think it's a Discord thing?
It must be a Discord thing. Yeah.
I just hope this kind of like, it's kind of, it's on like 300 milliseconds of latency right now, which is not ideal, but it's, about a minute ago, it was at a second and I could barely hear you. I was just nodding and like pretending to know what you were saying. And then you ended off on like a question and I was just like, yes.
Yes. I was like, are you the worst gamer known to mankind? And you go, yeah.
Yes.
So I knew it.
That would be true. That would be definitely true.
There you have
Have you seen my review of Rust? We can relitigate that if we want.
I don't know. Well, at the very least, the audio portion should be fine because we record independently of Discord. The audio will be fine, but there's video lag. Apologies.
If there is actual confusion in my voice, please understand. This is why I took up the mantle last weekend
of Batman.
Of I guess Batman. Yes. By visiting your favorite pizza place and keeping, the money flowing to them because they've definitely taken a hit after you and Lenska decided to uproot your lives and leave.
Has everything gone downhill?
They can't depend on the 3 to 4 visits a week from you. I will say
that we've gone,
very, very busy on a Saturday. Very, very good to see. Love to see it.
It's always
busy on a Saturday.
Always
busy on a Saturday. But I had a fantastic pizza.
Nice.
Shani had a very, very good pasta. And I told them that you hate them and are never coming back.
Well, did you see the picture I sent you last night on Discord?
I did. You cheated on them.
You can never tell them that
I'm sending this photo straight to Franco Jr. So I'm 100%
we ate at an Italian place near us yesterday, and I'm going to tell you it was really good. But it's funny.
That pizza did look pretty good.
It
looks like a diavola. I'm just going to say that much.
Yeah, when we go to South Africa, we'll say to them, no, we never ate Italian in the UK, ever. Would never.
Didn't eat one
would
pizza.
never do that.
Yeah. Didn't put one ravioli in my mouth.
Never. We ate fish and chips the whole time. And mushy peas.
Yeah. Didn't even have fish and chips on a pizza. Couldn't go that far.
Oh, we thought about it. We thought, no, we could never do that. But yeah, we trying places around us, and that little Italian place we ate yesterday was real good. It's funny though, because we're like, man, the pizza's kind of, well, it's actually not that expensive. Like, we're learning what things cost in the UK. So like,
what expensive is in UK terms.
So like, okay, you can get a pizza for like 12 to 13 pounds. Okay, which is that's sort of like the bar, I'd say. Yeah, it's a lot. But you can get lower than that.
Sorry.
Like, you can get a good pizza for 10, 11 pounds. But the pizza we had yesterday was 15 pounds. It's like, it's more like it's more expensive. But let me tell you, that pizza arrived and it was a huge base, like bigger than standard.
I'm just doing conversions in my head, and it's fucking killing me.
You actually cannot do conversions. You're crap. Because
that is absolutely
we
wild.
We do it in reverse. Because then yesterday I say to Lenska, I'm like, man, you know that, okay, this costs 15 pounds. It's good. You know that a Franco's pizza costs like 5 pounds.
Yeah, exactly.
You put it like that, I'm like, oh my God.
It's nonsensical to do it. Yeah. No, I get it. It's just like, from my perspective, it's like, holy crap, that is.
I know, it is, yeah.
It's like Shani and I are going to a very fancy, like, sort of fine dining restaurant tonight. And your price of a pizza, which looked very good, I'm not going to disparage that pizza, is literally the same as what I'm expecting to pay for a meal today.
Oh, no, you'll cry if you see what actual fancy food costs here.
I don't. Yeah, I'd need to live in the UK for many months to be able to feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah, then you're hitting like 20, 30, 40 pound territory, and it's ludicrous.
I do recall going to the UK. I think it was actually the very last time I was in the UK. I was there. No, it wasn't. But it was like, anyway. I was there for the Mafia 3 event, if I'm not mistaken. And at the time, good old Devin Stanton, who used to work for Megarom here, he was working for 2K. So this is before he went off to Blizzard and Unity. I think he's still at Unity now. And, there were a lot of like people he was managing the EMEA region, which is like, there were people from Greece, from like Middle East. There was us. I went with Grant Hines.
Nice.
And we went to a restaurant there. At the time, I was trying to be very like vegetarian, pescatarian. So we went to a fancy steak restaurant, and these people ordering the most obscene steaks. And I got fish, delicious fish, and I happened to grab a menu because obviously, part of Devon's job is to make sure that we are catered for and don't have to worry about these things. But I grabbed a menu and I looked, and my fish was, if I'm not mistaken, 50 pounds. And Grant had like, because Grant is vegan, so the restaurant was like, we got one thing for you, my dude. And it was like sort of like fajitas, like deconstructed fajitas. So he got like wraps and like grilled peppers and stuff. And it was basically just like some grilled veg and like some wraps too. And he had to like essentially construct them himself. And that was like 45 pounds. And I was just like, this is fucking crazy.
That is
the
insane.
steaks were about 80 pounds. Yeah.
Ooh. I went to a trip, it was for Ghost Recon in Paris. It's actually the last gaming trip I did before I joined Clockwork. And I remember I went out with a whole lot of other journalists and Manib. And I can't remember.
Good man.
I don't know where we ate or what things cost, but I just remember, like, I know, I'm like, I'll order something. I know it's being catered for, but like, I'm gonna order reasonably. Like, I have a Coke.
Yeah, you don't fucking blow out and go for the most expensive thing on the menu.
You best believe everyone else was like, I'm gonna have the most expensive drink and the most expensive
the Wagyu steak.
And I'm just like,
Jesus.
wow, like it's not your
dude.
Why are you here to milk? Like, don't get
it's
me
weird
wrong.
when people
I know
do
there's
that,
money and budget for that, but I'm like, it's just, it doesn't feel right to me personally. I'm like,
have you ever had that scenario where it's like you go out with people, like friends that you like, and it's like a big table for dinner or
Splitting the bill.
And,
are we going to cut to the chase?
And people, only at the end, it's like,
I hate that.
oh, we should just split the bill equally. And it's like, okay. Now, if you had this your idea in your head the entire time, why did you order like 4 drinks and also like 2 starters and a main while everyone else, because there's always one outlier. It's not like the whole table's an outlier. It's one. It's like everyone else ordered like half the amount of you, and you're the one.
You know where that scenario makes sense? It's if you, me, Lenska, and Shani go to Franco's and we all get a main and a drink, and we go, you know what?
Everyone gets a drink and a main.
Everything on the menu kind of costs. It's like within 5-10 rand of each other. Let's just split the bill. But
I think we actually did that when we went to Tavo before you left. Like we all had one curry, we all had one drink, and I was like, "Do you want to split the bill?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, this makes sense."
But at no point did you have a bottle of wine or something to yourself?
Yeah, I had a bottle of wine, and you guys had tap water, so you need to pay for half my bottle of wine.
We're going to be spending £15 on pizza in the UK. I need to have a glass of water. You're like, waiter, your best bottle of champagne. Like, no, wait.
So do they? I wanted to ask, because I've always wondered if this is a distinctly South African thing. Because I'm trying to remember in Italy if we actually did this. But can you ask for like tap water instead of like bottled water?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Those place yesterday beats us to the punch. They arrived with menus and water.
Oh, best.
I was like, thank you.
And do they do a so in Italy there was this thing where you don't necessarily tip. There is a service fee already added onto it. It's called, they call it coperto, and it varied from restaurant to restaurant. Sometimes it was like €2 per person, sometimes 3, but depending on the fee, it was like, oh, they brought you water to the table immediately and you got like some little bread or whatever, you know. Like, is that there in the UK, or do you tip? Like, is there tipping culture there?
There is see, it's funny because I think, well, for those of you who don't know, if you're not from South Africa, it's like an unwritten rule that generally you tip 10%.
At least.
At least, minimum 10%, whatever. Like, you don't have to, but it's a bit dick if you don't. Okay?
Or I get triggered when people don't tip at least 10.
No, I'm there with you. I'm like, I know there's no hard law, but like, it's polite, and
if I have bad service, I will still tip 10. Like, 10 same. Is a minimum.
Yeah.
Like,
so the service fee here we've seen is 12.5%.
Okay,
and
it's terrible.
It's funny because some places it says it's an optional service fee, which it's in the slip they bring you at the end. It's like a total, and you're like, that includes the optional service fee. I'm like, you can't not pay that.
Oh,
like,
it includes it.
It depends on the place, but generally we've seen they like include it, and it's like everything's worked out. That is the service fee. So yeah,
but then it's not optional if it's included.
Exactly. I'm like, is it optional?
Because there are some places here that do that, where they're like, where did we go the other day that did that? There was a restaurant we went to where it was like, oh yeah, 12% is just going to be added to your bill, and that's the service fee. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, I was probably going to do that anyway, but I can't remember where. But like, then just be upfront about it. It's like, this is going to be added, like whether you like it or not.
Although the one place we saw, I'm like, why do more places not do this? When we received the bill, it had straight up calculation. So for example, if the bill was £20 including service fee, it's like, cool, this is your fee. If it's 2 people paying, you pay £10 each. If it's 4 people paying, you pay £5 each. I'm like, oh my god,
that's cool.
Why do more places just not do this? Just include the little calculation at the end.
And that's a super easy thing to just put on the bill, because it's just like an easy calculation to do at the time of it ringing up.
Like, this place is living in,
I like that.
in 2030 over here.
2030, yeah. Best you
living
know.
in the future.
No one's whipping out their fucking phones for their calculators and writing notes on the back of the bill.
Like, come on. Who does that? We don't do that anymore. Isn't it scary to think that, you know the joke, hang on, before you pivot, you know the joke, this person's living in the year 2030. That's like 7 years away, man. It's around the
I know,
corner.
it's so horrible. I hate to think about it. Like, we are closer to 2030 than we were to like 2015.
Yeah, like what is the new meme?
like-
This person's living the year 2050. I'm like, oh my God, that's so far. But I mean, that was the joke for a long time.
I mean, I still plan to be alive by then. I fucking hope there are flying cars, and I want some Jetsons shit to be up in here before I die. Like,
we do have robot vacuums,
which
is cool.
Robot, or robot. Didn't the Jetsons have like a robot, like cleaner?
Yes,
She was dressed like a French maid, but she was a robot, which is very
Rosie,
strange.
I think
Rosie, that's right.
Rosie.
That's right. Yeah.
This memory kicking in
Look
with
at
the
that.
most useless information, but can't
Deep cuts, just pulling it. Just in like Harry Potter where he pulls out those memories with his wand. That's you.
I've
right now
installed
with
the most
that
important shit
knowledge.
in my head. The name of all the Jetsons characters.
Let's see if you can actually name them. Do you know who? So the dad is George Jetson.
George Jetson.
The mother is.
God, I don't remember the mom's name. The daughter was Judy.
I don't know the mom's name.
The son,
Judy.
I'm sure it was Judy Jetson. The son
Wasn't the son Jet?
Jet Jetson. And the wife
I feel
was
like
Jane.
Jet Jetson was a thing.
Jane Jetson.
Jetson characters.
You're going to tell me.
I'm going to quiz you here. Okay, so George Jetson we got. Jane is correct. Yes.
Oh my God, yes.
Jane Jetson.
Judy Jetson.
Judy Jetson is that you're never getting the son because I didn't even know that was his name. Oh my God.
It's something left field isn't like Roy.
Good Lord, you are close. Holy shit.
Rudy.
I did not expect you to get that close. Yeah.
What is it? Red Jetson.
But then his boss is Mr. Spacely.
Wait, what's the son's name?
Elroy.
Oh my God, I was so close.
I would have never have got that.
I was there, Roy. I was halfway there. Damn it.
And then I guess the last big one is, Rosie, the robot maid you got, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last big one, because I don't
Astro,
even fucking know
the
half
dog.
these characters. Yeah, there we go. Astro the dog. There we go. Not
Man.
bad, Matty. You got like
Can't wait
5
for
out of
this,
7 there.
for this information to be quizzed from me like a pub night one time in my
Name all the Jetsons characters.
in my single lifetime. And I'll say, thank God I hung on to this information for this exact moment. Yeah.
I didn't
There you go.
realize that it. It originally released in 1960.
Mm.
And then there was a revival series in 1985. So all of the Jetsons aired before we were alive.
Mm. And we still didn't have flying
Wow.
cars.
No, exactly. It's fucking ridiculous.
It's all
Just
that's
absolutely
allowed.
ridiculous. Just like it is so ridiculous that video games exist. I don't know. Like,
So it's ridiculous that we still have not played more games, but here we are.
it's ridiculous that this intro has gone on for 20 minutes.
Now I'll have you know,
they're getting worse. They're getting longer and longer.
Let me tell you, if you're still listening, I'm so sorry for the first 7 minutes of no video.
Oh no.
Because I did not hit record. Only later I was like, oh shit. So all that talk of like, oh, there's no border,
So all of the-
blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you see
On the borders, no one will ever see that.
Thank God. But it's
Oh
fine.
my God.
It's all good.
Oh, geez. So, okay. So this week, I've barely played The Legend of Zelda, which means I've barely played video games in general. Matthew has trucked along with Final Fantasy 16 and is nearly done. So we're going to keep that till
so
next week to do
close.
like a gigantic spoiler cast. Now that both of us have played and finished it. So this week, because there's nothing like really to talk about new, like there's games like Armored Core 6 came out yesterday, but we haven't bought it yet. So neither of us have played it. We never got like review codes, so yeah, we never got to play it beforehand. So I think we're just going to look at what is still coming out for this year and what we think will be games that interest us and games that maybe won't hit as hard as we think others will, stuff like that. Just like games that we can have conversations about for the rest of 2023. And there's a lot. Like if you look at October alone, there's like a lot to pick apart there. But I'm looking at a game release list, which I accidentally closed just before I started talking about this. I don't know why.
I mean, this is like a hard pivot into game releases, I guess, but not really.
Essentially, yeah, it's like game releases, but for the next 3 months, essentially. So we're starting in September because, well, 1st of September is next week, and
are you looking at this VG24?
The most obvious place to start. Hmm?
Are you looking at the same?
Yes.
Why do they go from August to just summer? It's like this article.
I think they just haven't updated it. Yeah. It just seems like they haven't updated it in a while. So September is dominated by one game. Like there's no getting around it. It's Starfield. Basically, within 5 days, people are going to start playing it. If you paid for early access, reviews will be out before the next episode of this podcast. And it will be out for everyone on September 6th. So just a week and a half away. This feels like it's been coming out forever.
It really
I think
has.
We've been talking about Starfield forever. Bethesda has been talking about Starfield forever. I mean, when last did Bethesda release a game? It was Fallout 4?
76.
I mean, yeah, 76 is a weird one because it was like a ZeniMax studio, not necessarily Bethesda GameWorks. Yeah.
And that itself was a lifetime ago.
Yeah, I mean, Fallout 4 was 2015. It was the first E3 I went to.
That's 8 years ago.
8 years ago. Yeah. It's a long time. Starfield's been coming a long time. Yeah. And it's had to kind of navigate the waters of like a acquisition by Microsoft, the COVID pandemic, all of this shit. But it's finally coming. And I'll say I'm far more excited to play it after what I've seen this year than I have been every year prior. And I think that's because like there's been a very concerted effort by Bethesda to actually explain what is going on in this world and just these sort of role-playing possibilities you have in this world. Like they've made a very compelling pitch about you can be whatever sort of space explorer you can be. Do you want to be a passive explorer that just like documents things you find on all of these different planets? You can do that. Do you want to be a colonist, who goes and finds places to expand whatever faction you're part of? You can do that.
Yeah.
Do you want to be a space pirate who just wreaks havoc on other colonists or other explorers? You can do that.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really, really cool thing that I think a lot of their previous RPGs sort of promised but didn't really allow mechanically. And I'm curious to see if Starfield actually delivers on that premise. What will the main quest be if you decide to be all of these different things? According to Bethesda, the main quest is kind of just a preamble to the rest of the game anyway. So, is there a purpose to the main quest?
The first 100 hours is you building your spaceship. You roll credits. You actually get to go to space.
You actually only can lift off after 100 hours on the first planet.
Oh my god! Yeah. Then if it's worth
throw this game into the ether if that was the case.
I'm more curious. Well, I suppose to talk to all your points of like a lot has changed. So like let's just pretend Fallout 76 never happened. Not for any reason other than like you're right. It was not necessarily the same studio. It's a different kind of game. But ages have passed since Fallout 4. And you think what sort of games have come out since? I mean, here's a good comparison. The Witcher 3 came out the same year in 2015, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, like it's Fallout 4. Yeah, you're right.
That long ago. And you think if you put them side by side, like Fallout 4, I never played it, so don't hate me. Like I'm sure it was as good, but The Witcher's like,
it was fun.
Like up here, it's sort of set the benchmark for this is what we want from RPGs and storytelling. Okay. And then you've had other games since then, like probably the most notable ones, Breath of the Wild and Elden Ring, where it just takes exploration to a whole different level. I mean, Skyrim's always been that meme, right, of Todd Howard saying, you see that mountain, you can go up that mountain. And I think Skyrim paved the way in a lot of ways for games like Breath of the Wild, but it didn't quite execute the same way, which in its defense, it's an older game, like, whatever.
Yeah, Skyrim is what, 2011?
My God, it's so old now. But points I'm getting is that there've been a lot of defining or genre pushing moments since Fallout 4. And it'll be interesting to see, what does a modern Bethesda game like this look like? Will exploration be that rewarding? Will it be that organic? And how does the story hold up? Is it going to be like, when I think of a Bethesda game, people aren't raving about, oh wow, like the story was great. It's more the thing of, what funny shit can we see in a Bethesda game? Like, what sort of memes will come out of it? Because there's that charm, right? Of their worlds are so big and ambitious that things do break in hilarious ways, So like, I don't know. What I'm getting at is, I just know what a modern version of a Bethesda game looks like, and I'm very keen to see. Like, I can't tell you I'm hyped on Starfield personally. I'm like, I like Bethesda games and that, but I'm not losing sleep over it. But I'm definitely going to try it because I'm just curious to see what it is and how it plays.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of there with you. Like, I don't think I've ever lost, like, I've never been like incredibly excited for a Bethesda game outside of Fallout, because I love Fallout. I think Fallout hits all the markers for me in terms of thematic, makeup, that I look past what I think is fairly rudimentary role-playing mechanics from Bethesda. Like, this is why I never got into Skyrim, was because I went into Skyrim amid all of this like storm of hype, with people going, oh my God, this is going to be an incredible RPG. And like, I've been waiting for this since Oblivion, and like, I'd never played Oblivion, and I was just like, I guess this is going to be my first Elder Scrolls. And it was a deeply disappointing experience for me. Like, I wrote articles about it back then, about how like I just didn't understand why this game was being heralded in the way that it was. And it was because I was playing it like a traditional RPG. I was going after the main story and expecting the main story to be compelling. And the argument to me at the time of like, oh, it's not about the main story, was just so stupid, because I'm like, this is a role-playing game. What the fuck are you talking about? But it is that. Bethesda games are about that emergent gameplay and like getting yourself into weird situations and just poking around the world. And Fallout for me has always been a bit more directed in terms of like, its main story has captivated me. So I'm wondering where Starfield is going to land on that spectrum. Like, is it more of a Skyrim where it's like make your own fun, or is it like a Fallout where it's like you can make your own fun, but there is a compelling thread that you can follow here? And I do think it's definitely going to fall on the side of like explore and figure things out for yourself, and the main story is just kind of there to like poke and prod you every now and then, sort of like No Man's Sky. But I think I'm more open to that now, because I've played games like Breath of the Wild, where I've embraced the idea of like distraction and exploration. I just think I wasn't there mentally. That's not how I played games when I played Skyrim. So I'm really curious to see if I click with Starfield in a better manner. I think this is a game that is going to take a few hours to really grasp, and that kind of scares me, because like, how long do you let it? Like Breath of the Wild, not Breath of the Wild, but like Tears of the Kingdom, for example, like took a longer time than I expected to really hook me. But I stuck with it because I knew that, oh, I've played Breath of the Wild. I know that this is the sort of like preamble to you being let loose and kind of like understanding the world. And when I did hit that point, like, it felt great. So I just hope I get to that point in Starfield, or that point even exists for me in Starfield. So
we'll see. But that's right around the corner, I think. Very well. It's on Game Pass.
Yeah, so a week and a half.
Yeah. Very keen to play it.
Very, very keen. The other big game in September that I see on this list, I mean, we're not going to go through every single game, but I think I'm picking the ones that are big, and I think you'd agree with me here. Mortal Kombat 1.
Yes.
Here's a controversial thing. I've never been less excited for Mortal Kombat.
I can't believe you've said that. The past 3 games, ever since Mortal Kombat 9, so when they rebooted it and just called it Mortal Kombat, I've been very much into the series from a perspective of like,
these are fun fighting games with a fun story that I can enjoy outside of competitive play, because I just don't vibe with competitive fighting game play because I'm not that good.
Yeah.
But I love the stories. I think they B grade nonsense, and I really enjoy them. This reboot again, which kind of resets the timeline and recontextualizes people. It's just like every trailer that sort of shows off the story just does nothing for me, and I'm just like, I don't really care about these characters or what's going on. Or so yeah, I everyone's like, oh, the fighting looks a lot better, it looks a lot slicker, you know, there's cool new mechanics, and it's like, that's cool, that's probably why this game's going to do well, but it's not why I'm coming to it. And so like I'm struggling to like muster up the excitement for it. I don't know about you.
Let me just scrub through to some actual fighting. So I'm there with you where it's a weird thing because I can't tell you like, oh my God, I'm so excited for this game, but I do want to see what the hell the story is, because it is that, I don't know, that Michael Bay explosions popcorn. You know, you're going in for, you know, not this compelling narrative, but my favorite part of the last few games since, you know, Mortal Kombat, was it 9?
9, yeah.
Is this whole, the way they structure the campaign is that it literally is, okay, you're playing this character now, you're looking at their perspective, and it is some story beats and then 1 or 2 fights, and then some story beats and then 1 or 2 fights. And just the way they string that together always makes me laugh of like, oh no, I can't believe you beat Johnny Cage. Now you have to fight me and you fight some other person. It's like, oh no, you beat me. Now you're going to fight Raiden. I'm like, this is so dumb, but I'm there for it because it's so funny. And also just the story beats just keep getting bigger and bigger. But I'm more interested to see how they reframe, because it's Mortal Kombat 1, right? It's like, for all intents and purposes, a reboot. It's a sequel, but it's kind of a reboot. I don't know. It's a weird thing. Like Liu Kang is now in the shoes of Raiden, and Raiden is now this quiet little monk they've like completely swapped roles. So I want to see how that plays out in the grand story. And also the fighting just looks very slick. It's just fun. Like the long and the short of it is like, I can't say I'm really hyped for it, but I am excited to, you know, eventually play it. It's just good nonsense, good popcorn nonsense, and I'm there for it.
I hope it is that. Like if it comes out and people are like, oh, the story mode is more good fun, it's like then I'll be inclined to definitely check it out. But I think we're there for the same reasons. We're there for the story and not necessarily like the improvements to fighting mechanics or multiplayer. Because like, at least for me, I just in game knowledge depth to really appreciate those changes. So it does look very good, like visually really, really great. So yeah, I was actually watching Giant Bomb's doing like a big playthrough of all of the this gameplay is wild. They're doing a playthrough of all of the story modes from MK9 through to MK11 in preparation for this, and I was watching a bit of MK9, and it's like, yeah, wow, these story modes have progressed. Like they are much, much higher quality now than what I remember MK9 being. And I was like floored by how cool Mortal Kombat 9 was at the time. So they're definitely improving in big ways. And I guess I'm curious to see where that goes.
What is hilarious is if you've woken up from a long slumber, okay, like you're woken up and you go to the likes of GameSpot and IGN, and they're like, they've both been posting videos of, we wanted to compare the fatalities from Mortal Kombat 1 to Mortal Kombat 3. And you'll probably look at that and be like, that makes no sense. Why does Mortal Kombat 3 look so old? What's going on here? Have games aged backwards? Because the naming's dumb.
It's such a nonsense naming scheme.
It's ridiculous.
It's like Mortal Kombat 10, Mortal Kombat 11, Mortal Kombat 1. It's like, what?
Right?
Like, what? Okay. Yeah. I do like that some of the fatalities in this one are like homages to old fatalities. There's one with I think it's Cyrax, or it might be a different character in this one, but it's like the bombs out of the chest and it explodes. It's so good. Great. I love that one. So good.
Yeah. So we'll see. That's also September.
So that's out September 19th. So it's also relatively soon. The wildest thing about that game is it's only coming to current gen consoles and then Switch. Which is like, what? Like,
Amazing. What do you think that's going to look like on Switch?
Yeah. Good luck. Good luck to that poor Switch. Okay. Moving on into the disaster that is October. I don't think we can spend as much time talking about every game here because we will be here for like 3 hours. But I guess very quickly, just because these two kind of pique my interest, but not in a gigantic way, I'm more curious about them, is Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Mirage?
I'm curious about this because the marketing has been so heavy-handed with, we are going back to the roots of Assassin's Creed, and this is a shorter game, and it's about stealth and social stealth, and this remember Assassin's Creed 2? You can do that shit again. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. But you can't just make that game again. Those games are old. Replay those games now, and you'll realize they are fucking old. So I'm curious. I think the setting is really cool, and I think is it Basim from Assassin's Creed Valhalla is a cool character. The gameplay they showed off at E3, I think it was, didn't do much for me, but I'm still curious to see how this pans out. I'm hoping it's good, because I would like a shorter, more stealth-focused Assassin's Creed over the RPG nonsense that it's become in the mainline games. So yeah.
So Valhalla is the only game I played, and I enjoyed it. But yeah, it's crazy. But that was way too big. I ended up mainlining a lot of that game. 60 hours. It was like,
no, it's far too big. Far too big.
Yeah.
I stand by my claim that Assassin's Creed Origins is still the best of the RPG ones. You can come fight me. Lords of the Fallen. I'm interested by this because of one mechanic, and that's the whole dual world thing. So if you haven't seen, Lords of the Fallen is doing something similar to the Medium, where your world has an opposite that you can kind of access using a lantern. So for example, a chasm that you can't walk across, you could maybe shine your lantern across that cavern, and on the other side of the other world actually has a bridge, so now you can cross that bridge. But it works twofold, where if you shine this lantern and come across an enemy in another world, that enemy now sees you and can attack you and hurt you. So this wrapped up in a sort of Souls-like sounds very intriguing to me, because the sense of exploration there could be incredible. So yeah, curious to see if that actually ends up being as good as it sounds on paper.
And then the big one for October, I think for you and me. Well, one of the big ones.
This date is wrong though.
Because this has been delayed. This article's old.
Yeah. This has been delayed. So I think the Mirage date is also wrong. The Mirage is coming out earlier. Yeah.
And also,
so Mirage is out, I think, October 6th or something. So
yeah, there's meant to be a Call of Duty in here, which is why these dates moved as well, I think. And a Mario.
Call of Duty is early in November.
It's not. Sorry, it's Mario and Spider-Man, isn't it?
Yeah, Spider-Man's late. Spider-Man doesn't even have a date. This article's old as fuck. Okay. I thought this was updated
regularly.
Constantly. Okay, but I know the dates for those, so that's fine. There's also Remnant 2, which is just here with the 2023 release date, and that's out. So this is a bad article to be looking at. Anyway, Alone in the Dark. Alone in the Dark. No, I'm not keen for that game. Alan Wake 2, that's the one. Nice. It's out on October 27th now, not October 17th. You were telling me before the show that you've drunk the Kool-Aid on this now after seeing the trailer at Gamescom.
So I didn't play Alan Wake when it originally released. I played it years later and I loved it. But that was a long time ago. So I always remember I enjoyed Alan Wake, but it's a distant memory. And then I've been cautiously optimistic for Alan Wake 2, just keeping my eye on it, going, it looks cool, whatever. But then a new trailer dropped at Gamescom this week, and I watched it. I was like, man, I have no idea what's going on. It looks great, but I can't remember what the hell happened in Alan Wake. So I read, thank you, look at this, coffee.
Sure. Some things never change. Eh?
Some things never change. I watched that trailer and I thought, let me just read up on the wiki and recap what happened. And then it all came back to me. And I was just like, man,
blooding back.
this game cannot come soon enough, and because it looks really good, and I'm very keen to see what the next step is for Alan Wake. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the trailer from Gamescom got me all sorts of excited. I think that was an incredibly strong trailer for the game, and I think they are very much delivering on their promise of this being a survival horror. You know, Alan Wake was creepy, but it was never, I would say, super, super horror. This definitely looks like horror. And just reading up on, you know, a lot of press at Gamescom, got to see 40 minutes of gameplay. And the dual protagonist idea sounds super cool. The way that like FBI agent is more the action focused realm, and when you play as Alan and him being stuck in this dark place, like the way you use his skills as a writer to navigate this dark place, like it's a ashtray maze from Control, sounds wildly intriguing. And I said it in the Discord. I'm like, the more I see about this game, the more I'm convinced this is like a Game of the Year contender. Just in the way it's approaching certain ideas and certain philosophies around horror games. So yeah, I'm so excited.
Even in execution, I love Remedy for always dabbling with. So like, I haven't played Quantum Break. I really should play that because I think I'd enjoy it.
You see, so you will say that to people, and they'll be like, "Don't! It's a bad game." I disagree with them. I think it's a fine game. It is not Remedy's best. It is okay. It is still fun.
I love Remedy's. They're not scared to mix like actual film with their games.
Yeah,
even in Control, I thought it was always such a nice touch that a lot of the videos you found were like actual. There's the scientists and it's actual actors and actresses playing out a scene, and it looks like Alan Wake 2 has this really cool blend of sometimes it's live action, sometimes it's just in-game stuff, and oftentimes you're like, hold on, is this live action or is this the game now? And I wonder,
the way it blends between the two is insane. It's very so
even,
good.
Even how, I mean, the one gameplay snippet I watched, like I scrubbed through a video this week, and there was like one scene where it's Alan Wake talking in a phone booth. Like the phone rings, the answers a call. Just the way it's filmed, you know, inverted commas because it's a game, but the way it's shot, I guess, is it's so like arty. The way things are framed and the camera changes, and I'm like, this. It's like watching an art film. It's really something. Like they put a lot of effort into that. So
I think they've only got better at that sort of stuff. I think Quantum Break was a sort of experiment into like having those two things coexist outside of one another. And the idea of like a game influencing a series. But I think they realized with Control and now definitely with Alan Wake that it's actually merging the two that makes more sense. People don't want to stop playing a game for half an hour to watch
something,
a episode of a series for context. You know, they want to like Control is really good at just overlaying the stuff on, like sometimes you saw like the director smoking or like talking, and that was like live action that was projected on top of the action. So yeah.
If I wanted to watch a half an hour movie with my games, I'd just play anything Kojima's made. Hell.
Metal Gear Solid 4, 1.5 hour end cutscene. Just go do that.
Oh my god, that is insane. What a guy.
What else here? I guess the next two big ones are Spider-Man. That is October 20th.
Sometime.
Yeah, October 20th.
There's a Mario game on the same day, if I'm not mistaken.
Same day, yeah. Same day. And that's why Alan Wake got out of the fucking way of those two things.
I love how they, I think we touched on this last week, but how they positioned that. The messaging was like, we just want everyone, we want to give people the time to enjoy these other games. And, you know, that's what it reads, but what it actually says is, oh God.
Oh my God, please, no.
We're going to move. But Spider-Man 2, it's a weird one because I almost want to put this in the same camp as Mortal Kombat, but hear me out, because it's like I'm excited to play the game, but I'm not like overly hyped for it, if that makes sense. It's like I want to see where the story goes, but the game can't be the same as the first, as Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales. Like it has to evolve in some way. Like if you're just going to put me swinging in the world again with one or two new abilities, I'm like, I don't know if I have that in me to, you know, it might well be that, I don't know. Like, how do they evolve that formula? Do they have to evolve that formula? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that gameplay from E3,
it did bad things to the game. I'd say.
Yeah, it's. I wouldn't say soured, but it like tempered a lot of expectations.
Yeah,
I think that gameplay showing was not fantastic. Even though it showed off some really neat ideas, like swapping between Peter and Miles seamlessly, and Peter having these venom abilities and Miles having a much more expanded repertoire of his abilities. And but yeah, I can't put my finger on it. I just like, my brain tuned out of it like halfway through. I was just like not interested in it. I am hoping that that's just the case of like a bad showing, because I think both of the stories we've got in Spider-Man and Miles Morales have been really, really good. Yeah. Really punchy, really emotional. And I think they have the opportunity to do that here with what they're setting up. So I hope that's the case. And I hope they've learnt a bit more about open world design, because I feel like those two, as good as they were, and it was really fun to swing around New York, like I think their side quests and, you know, those things were like pretty lackluster.
Yeah, I was going to say that,
and it would just feel worse the third time around.
Yeah, I think you mentioning that's probably my biggest criticism of, don't just give me a map filled with icons again of like, oh no, there's gang hideouts and it's like 10 of them and it's the specific flavor of gang, and then there's like 2 or 3 other things that are identical, but they've palette swapped with, you know, oh no, this is a goon hideout. Oh no, there's this hideout. It's like, no, give me meaningful side quests, you know? Just more than just, oh, go beat up those guys. Cool. Swing, beat up those other guys.
It sadly seems like there's a lot of that, because there was a scene in the gameplay that was like, oh, you're infiltrating a warehouse, and it's like there's all these people, and now you're in the like Arkham Asylum Predator mode where you like above and taking people out one by one. I was like, oh, fuck, not again. Like, just like, we've done this so many times now. It's just like not novel anymore. So
yeah, but I mean,
yeah, the first game and Miles Morales really get away with that stuff, because it's like, hey, this is your first experience with, you know, a new Spider-Man, and also now like Miles is a completely different Spider-Man, and the way they move and the way they function is really fun. But now if you're giving us that just with like some small additions, like the rest of the world needs to compensate somewhat.
I will say that the Miles Morales game did fix, I mean, it wasn't still 100%. There's still a lot of clutter, I guess. But I think being a shorter game worked in its favor, because it was less me, like in Spider-Man, oh my God, every district, like you got the platinum for that game too, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It's like you've got to tick off every single crime in that city. So it's like,
no, it was too much.
That means every single district had 5 or so crimes, and you had to swing around and wait for them to trigger. And you think, okay, there's, I'm thumb sucking, but there's like 15 districts. It's like, oh my God, it's like 75 different instances of you just swinging and beating 5 bad guys. it's too much. It's way too much. But yeah, I'm all that said, like I'm very keen to see what they do with the story, because I think, like you mentioned earlier, both games had stellar stories. Like Miles, smaller game, but I think more impactful with its story. But then that said, I watched Lenska play the original game after I'd finished Miles. I was like, man, this original game was really good. Like great moments,
still
great
very
story.
good. Yeah. No, I definitely think they have the capacity for that, and that's what I'm most excited about. I just hope it's not like a 20-hour game that I have to slog through to see that story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. I have faith in Insomniac. Insomniac generally delivers, and they generally learn. But yeah, I'm just hoping that showing at E3 was just like a bad showing. We'll see. The other big game, obviously, on the same day. Yeah, Super Mario. Is it Super Mario Bros. Wonder or Super Mario?
It's not Super Mario Sunshine, because that's the word I had in my mind. And I'm like, no, that's an old.
Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Okay, so that's it. So it's a 2D Super
2D Mario game.
And it is the first 2D Super Mario game since Super Mario Bros. U, Super Mario Bros. U, which was on the Wii U. Yeah, I mean, we've only had one trailer for this game, and it looks sick. It's like a 2D Mario game with mechanics that, wow, transform the world into some weird shit. Like pipes become sentient and move around. Mario turns into a fucking elephant. Like wonder is a great subtitle for this game because you're going to be wondering what the hell's going to happen next. Hey.
Well, I mean, Mario games, you either like them or you don't. You're going to get people who like, they're gamers who they want.
If you don't, you're a monster. But
yeah, like you're and that's
view.
not anyone's fault. Like if you prefer RPGs or action games, like cool. But what I'm getting at is that Mario games never miss, or they very seldom do. Like I've never not been happy playing a Mario game, and it's been like I played Super Mario Maker is a 2D game, and I love the hell out of it. But it's been a long time since I played a mainline 2D game, and that team always amazes me because you think, what else can they do? How can they innovate? And somehow there's one or other mechanic, or even just level design or aesthetic that they always do something amazing. So I'm very keen for this, and it's also got multiplayer, which is cool. You ever played Mario multiplayer?
True. And multiplayer with these sorts of games is always delightful chaos, I think. So I'm super keen for it. Like I like platforming games. I like Mario games, and I've been itching for a new one of these. And this one looks weird in all the best sort of ways that makes it like reinvent itself. So yeah, I'm super super keen for that. Going to be hard balancing that and Spider-Man, but yeah, I think it'll be a
whatever.
good time.
Spider-Man when there's power, Mario when there's not. Hey,
that's also true.
That's just how you balance it out. Oh god.
And
then
another one we missed from October because it doesn't have a date on this list, but it definitely does have a date. Is Forza Motorsport. Just quickly, like I'm pretty keen on this game purely because, like, well, I love racing games. I've never been huge into like heavy hardcore simulator games, but I think Forza Motorsport is making some very big changes to its formula, and hence why it doesn't have a number attached. It's almost like a soft reboot for the series. So a lot of the stuff I've seen for it seems really, really cool. Some really great customization options and just like very authentic racing. And I'm kind of keen for this after years and years of Forza Horizons, which I love, but that formula now needs to be revisited in a way because I think it's becoming a bit like stale in the same way. So having a break from that and just having a sim game, I'm keen for it.
Yeah, I'm also, like from our side, the only Forza I've played is Forza Horizon 5, which I loved. Played that on PC, great game. And the reason being that I missed others is that they were Xbox games. Like I know you could play them on PC, but most of them, but Xbox Game Pass wasn't a thing a few years ago, so I just missed all of the Forzas. And I played Gran Turismo last year, which I enjoyed. So it'll be interesting for me to finally, to play Xbox's big competitor, where it's not this open world nonsense arcade driving. It's actual, there's tracks. It's more serious in tone, that sort of thing. Yeah. Just to see them side by side. Because I mean,
more about picking your braking points and not just drifting past every corner you can.
Yeah. And for all intents and purposes, Forza is meant to be like the Gran Turismo competitor from Xbox. So I've never played any. And
for the longest time, it was significantly better. I think Sony's got Gran Turismo back on track somewhat last year.
So it'd be cool
to see. It'd be good to see if Microsoft has done the same, because this Forza Motorsport has been in dev for a long time. They've been tinkering with this one for a bit. Turn 10 hasn't released a game in like 4 or 5 years. So it's been time. Actually, when was the last Forza Motorsport? 8, I think it was. So Forza Motorsport 8. Oh, no, wait. 8 is the new one.
That is the new one, yeah.
Unofficially, yeah. 2017, 6 years, which is crazy to think about when they were on a cadence of one on, one off, one on, one off. You know, it was that like Horizon year, Motorsport year, Horizon year, and then it just like broke that. So yeah,
my goodness,
we'll see. Very curious to see.
Yep.
Did Forza Horizon 5 come out in 2021?
That's
what the fuck.
That makes sense. So did you lose a year?
I just lost a year. I thought it came out last year.
You know why?
What the fuck is time anymore?
It came out November 2021. It was like right at the end of the year.
But I reviewed it. It doesn't feel that long. Yes, that's wild. That is almost
old age,
nonsensical to me.
Old age.
Jesus.
There's actually a lot that's not on this list. Like another one, I think we need to cap this off anyway because we're running long now. But Lies of P is also next month.
God, that's this month, isn't it?
It's September. Unless the dates change, I think it's 19 September.
Let's see. 19th of September. And that's on
Mortal Kombat
it's on Xbox Game Pass as well. So, is it on the same day as Mortal Kombat? Yeah, you're right. I'm just looking at GameSpot's own release list, and yeah, it's definitely there. We forgot about Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty coming September 26th. I'm kind of keen for that because it's like a soft reboot of the game itself. So curious to give that a go. Just running through things that we might have missed. Super Mario Wonder. The Metal Gear Solid collection is out in October as well. I'm more just excited for the fact that I can buy those games again rather than like what they not barely doing anything to them.
Just give me Metal Gear Solid 4 on modern platforms, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's all I want in my life.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 on November 10th. That and talking about gameplay that didn't show well, I thought that demo at Gamescom was a snooze fest. Holy shit.
I didn't watch it.
Like, that was so boring. It was their very standard, like, here's a 10-minute snippet of the just single player where we walk very slowly and very narratively, and it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
The Super Mario RPG remake is coming out to November 17th. Nice. Well. I'm very keen to play that. Yeah. Because I've never, ever played that. So, yeah. December's got so much shit. What in the world? I'm just looking for anything interesting here. Gunbrella is meant to come out in December. I've been keen to give that a go. Hades 2 is meant to come out in early access this year still, but I don't think that's happening anymore.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's been pushed to 2024 at this point.
I'll play that on release.
Same with Stalker, which that was pushed to 2024 this week during Gamescom. But that makes sense. There's been a lot of upheaval at that studio with regards to like the war in Ukraine. So like, there's far more important things for them to focus on right now. So, I think that's pretty much it.
Man.
Yeah. I don't think we'll do game releases for the week because like there's nothing coming out this week aside from Starfield.
I mean, we just gave you game releases for the year. What more do you want? We give you
what more do you
hand
want?
And you take the whole arm.
Yeah, exactly. What other game? Trine 5 is coming out this week. I'm just looking over quickly. Sea of Stars is out this week. That's the like old Final Fantasy-ish sort of RPG. It looks really cool. It's on Game Pass. Goodbye Volcano High looks really fun. It's a narrative adventure. And then Starfield on September 1st for early access. So that's pretty much it.
Nice. Cool.
Should we bounce to news?
Yeah. Let's fly through news.
What do you want to kick off with?
Well, should we do Gamescom or the Microsoft update? Pick your poison.
I think Gamescom.
Let us do Gamescom. Where is... Have I lost an article? I think I have. Oh, no.
It's on the sheet.
No, on my side.
Okay.
So, everything shown at Gamescom opening night live. Why is this window so skew?
This show was 2 hours long.
It was hilarious because I missed the show and I was like, I'll catch up on it later. And I started watching and I was like, I had every intent to just scrub through and just pause at the big trailers. And I was like, was this 2 hours? And then at that point, I was like, I'm going to go look up a recap. I don't have the time to sit through all of this. I did watch that dude rock up on stage though. And I was like, what the fuck?
That dude like rushed the stage. Keely did a good job of like handling the situation, but God, they need to get security under control there. Like, what developer on earth is going to want to stand on a stage where that shit keeps happening,
Well, I think Jeff said it. He's like, this will be the last Gamescom where there's no like fence between the stage and
the next Gamescom's just going to be a fucking cage match with Jeff Keighley in the middle.
Oh my God. But yeah, so it was a 2-hour showcase, and there weren't any like, whoa, I can't believe, I don't know, the Bloodborne 2 was revealed or something. No Elden Ring DLC. It is more like, hey, and to be fair, Jeff Keighley, I think, did say, hey, like, it's more just updates on things that we know are coming. And he's actually very good at being like forthcoming with that sort of information. He sets expectations. And I think he knows he has to set expectations, else he gets criticized.
I mean, it doesn't stop people from completely fucking ignoring him. But I do think if you go back to what he said and then what was revealed, yeah, definitely he set the expectations correctly. Like he was like, these are going to mostly be updates. And guess what? They were mostly updates.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll run through it very quickly. Like just with this header image, just off the bat, Marvel Snap is now officially out on PC. So it was on PC in early access, I think. Now it's officially launched. Did you watch this trailer?
Okay. Yeah, it was so sick.
It was very cool. I'm like, damn.
Such great animation. Yeah. Very, very cool.
Starfield, we got a live action trailer. We got Todd Howard on stage speaking more Starfield stuff. I don't know what they said about Arrow History Untold.
I don't know. It's just like a new sort of like strategy game that goes through like alternative history. It's coming out later this year. It looks fine. It's not my type of game, but it looked interesting.
Age of Empires 4 received a feature-focused trailer along with an announcement that it's now available on console, Xbox Series X.
Yeah, it was a cool little shadow drop. So yeah, if you love your Age of Empires, Microsoft is doing good by you because they keep re-releasing or releasing these games.
Yeah,
so,
I'm like, was it not on console already? Like what? We got that Alan Wake 2 trailer we touched on earlier. Very cool.
Yeah. Phenomenal trailer.
Yeah, really. It's like
really good,
half.
Like mix of live action and game, and very, very creepy, and
just sets the tone.
So cool.
I thought a very good job of setting the tone.
Definitely.
More Armored Core stuff. This game is out. If you it's a From Software mech porn. From what I've heard, it's really good. All I've seen on Twitter is people going like, "Yo, look at my mech," and it's like, I'm looking at Transformers with these multicolored parts.
Yeah, there's some weird as shit mix, man. I love it. Like,
I can't wait to play
cool.
that. We got an update.
What is that whole thing in like Dark Souls? It's like Fashion Souls.
Fashion Souls. Yeah, I know we've got mech.
You've got Catwalk Core or something. I don't know.
What's funny is that Andy Cortez, he loves what's it called? Gundams. Like, Greg always gives him shits about, Gundams.
It's a fucking nerd.
This game is made for him. It's the From Software game with Gundams.
I actually feel bad for Darren because he kind of wants to get into this game, but he's like, wait a minute, I'm reading that the boss fights are hard. I'm like, yes, it is a From Software game. Yeah. And that is like a complete turn off to Darren. So I feel bad that he can't. He could buy the game and just play around with mech customization. I mean,
if it's on PC, surely there'll be a mod for difficulty.
That is true.
I don't know.
You could just you could just hack that game wide open and just turn down the difficulty to 0.
Yeah.
Or give yourself an attack of like 1 billion shot. And just one shot bosses.
Why stop at 1 million? Not even 10 million, just 1 billion shot.
Yeah, exactly. You just breathe and the boss dies.
Oh my God. You just walk forward and the boss is like, my weakness. We got another trailer for Assassin's Creed Mirage, which, again, we'll see what this game looks like when it launches. I think we've got
I do like that this trailer was fully voiced in Arabic.
Yeah, very cool.
That's a neat addition. Yeah. I'm sure a lot of people are going to appreciate playing it that way. So.
Yeah. I mean, I think, will that be a language option, surely?
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, with games like that, I'm almost inclined, like, I'll play it in Arabic with subtitles.
Exactly, because it's more authentic to the experience. Yeah.
Black Myth Wukong, I think, got a release date, if I'm not mistaken, or did I imagine that? I think I imagined that. Damn it.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. It was just like new gameplay.
This game looks good. It
still looks very good,
very
but
pretty.
boy, it's long in the tooth now. It needs to get on with it. Like,
Modern Warfare 3 trailer.
This trailer, man.
The Crew Motorfest with key art that looks very much like it's fresh out of Forza.
This actually looks pretty decent. I won't lie. Like I think the crew's been struggling to find its own identity in amongst like Forza Horizon, but this Motorfest looks pretty neat.
Yeah,
and it's out soon, September 14th. So
I mean, if you like cars, there's a new game coming with cars.
Yeah, I love cars. Vroom vroom.
Do you drive a car? This game is made for you.
Absolutely, every day of my life.
Oh my god. Crimson Desert. Okay.
I think this is the game that. Is it? There was one game that was shown off where people were like, "This is every type of game ever made, all in one game," and I think it was this one. Like, it just showed off the most jarring like changes between game mechanics. So yeah, I don't know.
The action.
It's an upcoming action RPG.
Nice.
Also, you can pet a dog and carry a sheep.
Well, game of the year right there. Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty, we got another trailer, which, as you mentioned earlier, it just gave a closer look at how things are being revamped completely. And what's quite nice is that if you have no interest in the expansion for whatever reason, you are going to get like gameplay 2.0 regardless.
Yes, yeah.
The mechanics,
I think that's quite important. Yeah.
So you will get the overhauled perk system and, a lot of other updates. You just obviously won't get Phantom Liberty. But the actual trailer itself,
and also like any exclusive weapons and vehicles that come with Phantom Liberty. Yeah.
I'm keen to play this. Like, I know you didn't vibe with Cyberpunk when it launched, but I enjoyed my time with the game, and that was literally like in month 1, and a lot has changed since then. Like, I know even pre this update, they've done a lot of changes. So I'm very keen to just like,
I've been kind of waiting for this update to jump back in, because I'm like, if they're going to overhaul the entire perk system, like, I might as well just wait for that. You know, that's a big change.
Yeah,
so.
and it's cool because I'm going to treat it sort of like a pseudo sequel. I'm not going to replay Cyberpunk now. I think I'm literally just going to pick up where I left off and just play the expansion, for better or for worse.
I do like the spy espionage vibes of Phantom Liberty. I think it's a really cool mix with the like setting of Cyberpunk. So yeah, it'll be cool. Dustborn. The dialogue in this trailer turned me off so much. It was just so like,
I did not watch this trailer. What is
just
this?
Felt like it was trying super hard to be funny, and I just did not click with it at all.
Image right here makes me think Saints Row immediately.
This is the game that is published by Quantic Dream. That one that you saw during E3, and you're like, did that say Quantic Dream? Oh no, that was a different one. That was like an ocean one.
There was an ocean one,
Yeah, that was a different. But this is again published by Quantic Dream. So
my goodness.
Yeah.
We got a new trailer for Diablo.
New
Season
Diablo
of Blood, which is just the
it's the
second
latest
season. A new Genshin Impact trailer. If you're out here for more gacha shenanigans, don't worry, Genshin Impact's got you with stuff. Oh wait, hang on. This isn't a gameplay update. This is Genshin Impact's beloved.
I think it's advertising their concert.
An actual concert. Nice.
Yeah.
Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. Cool. The JRPG
More RPG.
Received a new trailer. My God, okay, we're gonna have to speed through these. Expeditions, a Mud Runner game. Oh my God, this is from the same
this is
people
just the new
did
SnowRunner and Mud Runner. Yeah.
Amazing. SnowRunner is this like weird game,
exploration focused game.
SnowRunner is like this very niche game that I know a lot of people play. I like
so many people play.
so many
popular,
people. I'm like,
yeah.
but it's a game about driving trucks and transporting
tires.
stuff.
It's like, yeah, people love that
But
shit.
people are into it. The First Descendants, an upcoming sci-fi looter shooter. I did not watch this trailer. Cool. Fort Solis, which is out today, saw Troy Baker, Juliette Brown, and Roger Clark hit the stage to tell a story about Troy Baker's.
Oh my god, the segment was so fucking weird.
Oh yeah.
It was like some scripted jokes between Troy Baker and Roger Clark. Roger Clark's the voice actor of Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Nice.
And I don't know, they were just making like butt jokes. It was weird. It was so. Even Jeff Keighley just like stepped in and was like, let's watch the trailer.
I love. There was we'll get to it as well, but what's his face when he got on stage and Zack Snyder when he showed Rebel Moon. There was that.
Oh, yes.
I watched that segment, and when he started rambling off, Jeff Keighley's like, he's like injects.
Yeah,
he's like,
stop.
Yeah. So anyways, like,
Keely's good at his job. We'll
he
give him
is,
that.
but I
We'll
just
give him
laugh
that.
because I'm like, shame this poor dude. Because I'm sure he invites these people on. He's like, he doesn't actually know how it's gonna go. He's like, cool, I've got Zack Snyder on for 5 minutes. We're gonna just talk. He has to like keep things under control.
Yeah.
I'm like, man,
Like, hey Zach, just come on and introduce Rebel Moon. Zach's like, no, I'm gonna introduce you to the lore of Rebel Moon. Yeah.
Honkai Star Rail. Is this the other game from the Genshin peeps?
Mm-hmm.
So I got a
It's
PS5.
the one that's currently out and people going nuts over. Yeah.
It's got a PS5.
So it's coming to
release.
PS5 soon. Yeah.
Immortals of Avium. This game launched
out already.
To no fanfare. I've heard nothing about this game. Sad to say.
Literally nothing.
Killing Forth the Floor 3. These are
Killing
games.
Forth the Floor.
These are games I know I'd enjoy. I've not played Killing Floor 1.
Aren't they like Left 4 Dead?
2. Yeah. There's Killing Floor 1 and 2. I've not played Vermintide. Like, I would love these games and I should play them. And I don't know. But
I'll be
Killing
dead
Floor
honest.
3,
When I saw this trailer, I was like, oh my God, is this Quake?
Quake.
Because there's all these rumors that it is working on a new Quake. And I was like, oh,
I'd love that.
Wow.
The Last Epoch? Epoche? No
New
idea what that is.
ARPG.
Nice.
Little Nightmares 3. This was a weird one because, like, firstly, did not expect this to be announced, but apparently it was announced like 3 months ago.
Right.
Didn't know that.
I have no idea.
It's coming out next year, but it's also not the same studio. So Kotaku's got it wrong here. They say Tarsier Studios. That's not true. It's Supermassive Games now.
Now, just remind me, what have they done? Supermassive Games.
Until Dawn.
Okay, they're the Until Dawn people. Okay.
Dark. Yeah,
Cool.
those ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I was just thinking, like, do I have it right? Cool. I've played Little Nightmares 1. I really enjoyed it. I've not played the second
But
one.
why change the developer 2 games in? Like,
I don't know.
just a bit of a strange. Yeah. Anyway,
Lords of the
Fallen,
which, as you touched on earlier,
looks good.
Looks interesting.
Looks good.
Marvel Snap
Looks way better than I thought it would.
Yeah. Marvel Snap officially on PC. If you've not seen this cinematic, go watch it. It's 1.5 minutes of anime nonsense. It's great. A new Mortal Kombat 1 trailer, which I think revealed
Sindel
and General Khan. I was like, oh, cool.
Yes.
Nice.
Sindel killed people with her hair. It was
Holy
great.
shit. You know what? Hats off to Netheron, because when I think they can't get more brutal, they do. I'm just like...
Sure, yeah. My goodness.
Have you seen her one fatality?
Nightingale?
Yes. It's...
Yeah, her fatality at the end was crazy. It was...
Yeah. Nightingale.
This game is
card-based
so
survival
strange.
game.
It's so strange. I started watching this and I was like, okay, survival game in a sort of like steampunk thing. And then there were monsters and fantasy. I was like, okay.
What's going
And then
on
there
here?
was like survival combat. And I was like, okay. And then there's magic.
Mhm.
And then there's cards.
What the heck?
And I was just like, I don't understand what this game is anymore.
That's a lot.
There's also like multiplayer. There's like base building. There's
My God.
it's a lot. There's a lot happening here. I don't know what to tell you.
Payday 3. Cool.
Cool.
Nice. Sonic Frontiers: The Final Horizon.
Okay, you got to explain something to me. Why is Mr. Eggman on the team with Sonic?
Because if I recall the ending, they like made peace.
What?
I laughed though because this is one of the segments I actually did watch, and it's like, yay, Sonic, and everyone was like, yay. Listen, Sonic Frontiers is not a fantastic Sonic game, but it's not as bad as everyone else.
It's not.
It's not as bad as everyone has made it out to be. I think it's a good foundation for.
Can
what
I play as
could
Dr. Eggman?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Is his name Dr. Eggman?
It's Dr. Eggman. It's Jim Carrey. Sonic Superstars.
It's Jim Carrey.
Got an actual release date. Hang on. I don't think this was in the trailer, but where did I read that it's got a release date now of October or something? I
think you're right. That does sound right.
That's coming. Stormgate.
Stormgate, also known as StarCraft 4.
StarCraft 4. Yeah, this is from some veterans at Blizzard / the StarCraft
Literally
team.
looks like StarCraft.
Looks like StarCraft. Rebel Moon, a Netflix movie made by old Zack Snyder, which is now coming out in 2 parts. One in December, one in April, I think. This trailer had so much going on. Holy shit.
Netflix Star Wars. Apparently, who was telling us? Kervin said that this was actually Zack Snyder had a pitch for a Star Wars film, and Disney was like, "Thank you, but no, thank you." And he was like, "Okay, well, I'll make it anyway."
Okay,
and
Star
that's
Wars,
what
but we'll call it Rebel Moon.
Just like there's even someone with swords that are red. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's that was the first thing I saw in the trailer. I was like, oh my God, is that a Sith Lord? Like, come on.
Do you know that there's going to be a director's cut? Because he's like, part of my agreement with Netflix was that I could release a director's cut. Do you know how long that director's cut is?
Oh my God, it's going to be like 5 parts.
5.5 hours.
What? That's insane.
Who wants that?
Zack Snyder fans.
Who? No one.
Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder himself wants that.
Tekken 8 got a release date.
Lunatic.
Which I can't.
Wow, this screenshots on the trailer looks real bad.
It's not great.
Like if you the way that it paused makes what's his name?
Is it Law?
What's the guy who's Bruce Lee but not Bruce Lee? Law. That's it. Look real bad.
Under the Waves.
Under the Waves.
Nice.
Looks like a cool little sea exploration thing.
A
Warhaven.
free-to-play Malay combat game coming on September 20th.
Cool.
Zenless
The third
Zone
game
0.
from the Genshin Impact people.
Oh, really? Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
This looks sick, though. Zenless Zone Hero. It reminds me a lot of, you played it, Astral Chain.
Okay.
The combat reminds me a lot of Astral Chain. So,
good God, this company is just going to print
It's coming soon. Yeah, I know this game is going to be... Look at this combat. It looks so cool.
It does look good.
Definitely want to play this.
This game, thank goodness you're here. The last game that we have on this article.
Is this the one that Darren really liked? Yes.
Made by the same people who made Untitled Goose Game. It looks,
really?
Yeah, I remember looking at it.
Wait, how do you know that? It says PlayStation Japan.
Where did I see that?
Wasn't Untitled Goose Game Australian?
Maybe I got that wrong. But
I might be wrong.
Thank goodness you're here, developer. Thank goodness you're here, developer. I could be wrong, but I swear I read that. Cole Supper. Okay. Cole Supper. Now I'm going to go Cole Supper Games.
Cole Supper.
Cole Supper.
Cole Supper.
Games.
Doesn't sound familiar.
Maybe not. What? Okay, maybe I got that wrong, but I could have sworn that it's the same studio. Okay,
well,
never
we
mind.
can do...
I got it wrong.
Untitled...
I'm wrong, okay.
Did you get it wrong?
Huh. Creative shooter from Yorkshire based in London. I must go visit them.
Oh.
Who knew? I don't know where I read that.
Yeah, so the developers are of Untitled Goose Game. Yeah, they're not working on anything currently. Well, not that they've announced. They're called House.
Okay, I got it wrong. Apologies for that misinformation. But that is Gamescom in a nutshell.
Game looks good though.
It
We
looks real
completely
good.
forgot to talk about that game. Looks real cool.
It does. Good Lord, we spoke about that for long. Let's fly through news. So I think the big other thing this week, and you're going to have to break this down for me because good God,
Oh my God.
Microsoft to sell off Activision cloud gaming rights to Ubisoft in bid for UK approval. Now, if you had this on your bingo card, I don't know how you did.
Yeah, so in a nutshell, like Microsoft obviously had to go back to the CMA, the Consumer Competition and Markets Authority, and like kind of like come up with an idea with how to like get past their hang-ups over cloud gaming now that the FTC and the EU have kind of like approved or forcibly approved the merger. So Microsoft has almost completely restructured how the deal works in its entirety, and as part of that, they are basically saying that all Activision Blizzard games that they acquire, their cloud streaming rights will be transferred over to Ubisoft. And then Ubisoft will have the ability to choose where those games end up, what services they end up on, for how long they end up, blah, 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 blah. So basically it's taking away the cloud gaming aspect from Microsoft that the CMA was so hung up on. And Microsoft being like, see, look, it's with another third party and we have no control over it. We still own it and we still get profits from that, but we do not control where things end up. So we cannot be anti-competitive and not put things on like a PlayStation streaming platform. That will be Ubisoft's prerogative. So yeah, that's part of it. It's super weird that it ended up with Ubisoft. But now the CMA has basically said, okay, cool, we're going to have to like start from
this,
first base and relook at this deal. And there's a deadline set for October 18th for that, which is coincidentally the same deadline that Microsoft has. It's their new like closing date deal time for Activision. So like if they get to that date and still can't close, they're going to have to extend that for a third time. The problem now is that I saw that the EU looked at this and was like, hold on, this deal is like very different now to what we approved. We might have to relook at this. And that is like the complete opposite of what Microsoft would want at this point.
Yeah.
So they haven't said one way or the other whether it's going to happen, but yeah, that's the gist of it. I think that this is going to appease the UK. Like, what else can they be worried about? If they come up with something else now that's not cloud related, it will be almost like, well, why didn't this come up the first time? So
yeah.
Yeah, hopefully this fucking ends soon. Just please put us out of our misery.
Yeah. Cool. That's your week. We back with your weekly Microsoft updates. They were gone for a while, but they're back now. This is some sad news here. An update on the state of BioWare. So BioWare working on I presume the very early stages of a new Mass Effect, but working on Dragon Age. Is it Dread? What's it called?
Dreadwolf.
They put out a whole PR thing of they're restructuring and they're going to become more agile and a more focused studio, and in small print, we are cutting 50 people's jobs.
Which doesn't sound like a lot until you contextualize that figure with the fact that BioWare only had 250 employees. So it is literally like 20% of their workforce. Yeah.
Wow.
Which is, they also cut ties with the playtesting contractor who was unionizing. So that's real fucking cool like of them. Like,
yeah. So, but it's such a weird thing because this press release is like, it is very much what you'd expect. You're not going to go like, hey, we cut 50 jobs. Hey, it's like they framed it like, no, we, in order to, remain sustainable and blah, 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 like we're restructuring and just we cutting 50 people's jobs. So very sad for them. I don't know how this affects.
I know good old Jeff Grubb was saying on a Games Mess morning stream earlier this week that Dragon Age Dreadwolf was originally envisioned to release end of this year.
Yeah.
He's now hearing summer 2024, but that date is probably not going to be hit either. So I would expect Dragon Age Dreadwolf end of next year, if not 2025 at this point because of this.
Yeah.
BioWare is just not what they used to be. Like it's sad, they are so far from it. It's like they don't have that same amount of cachet or So it's kind of sad because they have made some of my favorite games of all time. Like I love Mass Effect, but I'm barely getting excited for a new one because like they can hardly get out of Dragon Age out the door in time. So
yeah,
bummer.
Yeah, very sad. Should we pivot back to consoles? Let's just bounce back to Xbox quickly. This is pretty cool. If you like your custom consoles,
these things are rad. Yeah,
very clever.
I like these.
So if you want to give your Xbox a new little lease on life visually, Xbox is releasing official console wraps, starting with this Starfield number, which looks really nice. It's literally just a vinyl wrap you wrap around your console.
No. So it's not vinyl.
Oh, what is it?
That's why I think it's so cool. It's not a sticker. It's not like a vinyl sticker, like a D brand thing or whatever. It is actually fabric.
Oh, is it just fabric?
So
why did I think it was vinyl?
So it's a fabric. You like plop your console down and you literally wrap the fabric around, and then right at the back it like Velcro.
Oh,
like
okay, that's better.
But because it's so like perfectly sized for the dimensions, I saw a lot of people at Gamescom who got to see this in person being like, you cannot tell the difference between this and like a special edition console where it's printed on. It's like so perfectly
That's
fitted.
Very cool. I don't know where I got
so it means
from.
You can take it off whenever you want.
Yeah,
like you can remove it. Yeah.
Cool. So
it's really cool. Really.
So there's
really cool. There's a Starfield one. There's two camo ones.
Going to make your console
I like the Starfield one a lot. I think it looks really nice.
I also think
the Starfield one's like $50, and then the camo ones are like $40 or something like that.
I think you're right. It's 50 and then 45 for the camo ones. What's cool about this is that, like, I've been wondering where limited edition consoles are this generation, because we've just not had them really. I think this is a very cool middle ground where, because like, if I'm a big Starfield fan, I don't necessarily want to buy a whole brand new damn console. You'll get people who will, 100%.
Absolutely.
But this is like a fair middle ground where I can go, oh, you know what? I like Starfield. I really love the look of this wrap. I'm just going to buy this a lot cheaper.
And like you said, you hit the nail on the head there. It's like more people will be inclined to buy these things over a brand new console. So in long term, like your revenue would probably be higher.
Yeah.
On these things, and people will be more inclined to like double dip on like, oh, I like the Starfield one, and then a year later, like Hellblade 2 one comes out, and they're like, shit, I like that one too. And now that it's easy to interchange between the two, like there's incentive to buy them, just like the faceplates were on the Xbox 360. Like people owned multiple of them because they were just like accessorizing their Xbox whenever they felt like it. So it's very smart. It's like Nintendo's Joy-Con approach. Like it's almost the exact same thing.
But now, hear me out. This isn't inside information. I've not heard of this from anyone at Xbox. But can you imagine a design lab for vinyl, of not vinyls? God,
send a picture of your cat.
No,
and get that made into
even
an
just a
Xbox
thing
wrap.
of like a design lab where they say, cool, like choose your color, choose your pattern, choose whatever, and they'll custom send you. They'll print money.
That would be sick. That would be sick.
Again,
because people want to have
clear,
like distinct.
This isn't some inside information. This is me just thinking. In case anyone goes,
it's definitely inside information.
He works at Xbox. This is a leak.
You should phone Phil Spencer right now and pitch this.
We'll just get him on speed dial. Hey Phil, it's your boy.
Yeah, Phil, you're on Checkpoint Chat. We got this great idea.
So Xbox doing very smart moves. Who's not doing smart moves, I think, is PlayStation, who've revealed the price of their the remote play dedicated service, the PlayStation Portal remote play. Oh wait, yeah, that is right. The remote, is it called? Yeah,
PlayStation Portal.
This thing is coming out, and you think, okay, that's cool. It's a handheld that will link directly to my PlayStation until you read that it's Wi-Fi only, and you think, why does this exist? And why is it $200?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I've ranted about this ever since we
first saw it.
The initial like design for it, and like details came out, and turns out all those details are correct. I don't necessarily know who this is for. I know that there are people who envision like a purpose in this, in like playing PlayStation in bed, or they have kids, so it's an easier way to like pick up a game, or they share a single TV. And my argument to that is always like, you have been able to do this for years. Like, if the need has been so great that you see this and go, man, this is filling a hole in my life. That hole never existed, because remote play of this nature has existed since PS4.
Yeah.
And it has been on PS5, and they've been dedicated controllers that have come out that have made this so easy with your phone. And the only argument there is like, oh, well, sometimes I need my phone as well without, having to have that as a gaming device. And that's fair. But like $200 for this is, it's cheaper than I thought it would be, but it's crazy.
My thing is that it's too niche. It's like such a niche thing to be beating a drum about. It's like, I don't know. What is also strange is I think you pointed out that you cannot use like Bluetooth earphones with this thing. It has to be.
Yeah, that is such a fucking bananas decision. Yeah. Like, it's like, cool, you can't use wireless audio. The only wireless audio you can use is through our Pulse Elite and Pulse Explore earphones, the two new things they announced, that use this new like codec called PlayStation Link for like latency or whatever. But like the earphones, the earbuds, for example, are the same price as the Portal. So you're now $400 all in if you want wireless connectivity. So yeah, listen, I don't know. It was such a weird thing. Like, they were hands-ons. They were like, oh, the PlayStation Portal can turn on your PlayStation 5 remotely. It's like, your phone can do that. Like, it's not new.
Amazing.
I don't understand. Also, like,
what can I ask? Why is that a feature to get excited about?
Yeah. Like, no, but the thing is, it's been framed as like, oh, this is better than the phone because it can turn your PlayStation on remotely. It's like, no. Your phone can do it. This thing is doing nothing different to what your phone does when it connects to the PlayStation. It's over Wi-Fi. It's over the exact same remote play. The PlayStation has no fucking clue that it's a different device. How would it interact with it differently? It's impossible. So it's like,
I don't know.
Also, another strange decision on Sony's side is that this PlayStation Portal doesn't support cloud gaming. So you can't just stream PlayStation cloud games directly from the internet to this device, which seems like a real dumb omission in my view. That alone would make it, like, in regions where cloud gaming is supported, quite useful, because it's like, okay, I've got this PlayStation cloud dedicated device with me with a PlayStation controller that I can take around. And I don't know. Listen, I know people are gonna buy this thing. I just don't. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get why there's been such a big fuss made over this thing.
Yeah.
It's doing nothing new.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's coming when? Later this year? Yeah, it says later this year.
Yeah. Cool. Then last pieces of news this week. Like Mario, he's retiring, or more his voice actor. Old Charles
Mario's dead.
R.I.P. Charles Martinet, who has voiced Mario for like literally since the beginning, is retiring for all intents and purposes. So Nintendo just put out a tweet or a statement basically saying Charles Martinet has been the original voice of Mario in Nintendo games for a long time, as far back as Super Mario 64. He's now moving on to, so he's not leaving Mario entirely. He's moving to a brand new role of Mario Ambassador, which means he'll still do Mario stuff, but he's stepping away from recording the voices for the games. And he'll continue to travel the world, sharing the joy of Mario and interacting with you all. So it's very sad. But like, I think you mentioned before we started recording, he's also old. He's 67. Like, he's been doing this a long time. I mean, he's not completely putting it to bed. He's still going to travel, which I imagine is a very nice perk. Nintendo says, yo, we're flying you out to whatever. You'll still pay to do it. So, yeah, and he's a cool dude. We've met him. Good for him.
Very nice guy, yeah. Super, super nice guy. This comes after, like, people started noticing when the first trailer for Super Mario Wonder came out. They're like, sounds different. There's something not super right here with Mario's voice. And
that is amazing.
Like, a lot of people waved it off as like, you turns out that, Charles Martinet is not in Super Mario Wonder. That is like the first game he's not appearing in. So,
but I'll take my hat off to you if you can tell the Wahoos apart.
Yeah, no, if you can, because that voice is very similar. Like now that you go in there with the knowledge of it not being him, you can kind of hear it.
Yeah.
But without knowing that, I don't think I would have made that conclusion. Like I don't think I would have arrived there. Yeah, it's weird that they say that there's going to be a video message from Shigeru Miyamoto and Charles Martinet at a later time, like as if this was going to be leaked, or maybe, reported on, and they wanted to get out ahead of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's done his dues. He's done a really great job. And remember, he's not just Mario. He voices like a bunch of characters. Like, so I wonder if they're going to get individual people to fill all those roles where, Charles Martinet was filling like 8-9 characters alone.
Every Mario game, he steps into the recording studio for like an hour and he goes, Wahoo! Mamma mia. And that's it.
Does Luigi's voice, does Toad's voice, does Waluigi's voice? Yeah, all of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
good luck to him.
Last piece of news this week, confirmation that Kojima is in fact immortal, because this man is 60 years old and he,
I could not believe this.
Happy birthday, Kojima. Posted a tweet of himself having a fabulous time on his 60th birthday.
Look at him.
And you look at this picture and you wonder, how is this dude 60? He's immortal.
I was floored when I saw this tweet. I was like, I thought he was like a solid 10 years younger than that.
Yeah, look, I know he's been around for actual decades, but I think he started his career at like 20 maybe. So he's like late 40s, maybe like early 50s, not 60. I hope I look this good when I'm 60. This dude.
Yeah, I wish.
He is drinking a serum here that makes him young, like confirmed.
I think and this is not to disparage good old Charles Martinet, but like Hideo Kojima and Charles Martinet are separated by 7 years and they do not look it.
Kojima just looks like 2 decades younger.
Yeah.
As you pointed out, the secret to youth is Metal Gear.
Yeah. The more Metal Gear Solids you release, the more years you knock off, or the more years you add to your potential life.
It gives more meaning to the game's name of Death Stranding. I'm just going to stop. Because on that is all the news for this week. Yeah.
Wow, we are so
look at us. We're so over. Do you want to? We do have 2 questions. You can skip them if you want. I don't know if you have time for them.
No. We can do it. Yeah, we can do it. If you want to send us questions, you can email us checkpointchatpodcast@gmail.com, or you can find us on all of our social channels at checkpointchat. What's on the docket?
Oh my God, sorry, I was so unprepared.
I did see an email very early in the week.
Yeah, those are
was
the 2.
Was it 2 emails?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have 2 emails from good pal Malesh, who asks, who taps.
Oi.
Hey guys, had a passing interest in the mechanical keyboard builds that some of you have been doing. I ended up grabbing a ready-made hot swap one because I'm not ready to do it from scratch. For switches, nice. I have an idea of which ones would work for me and intend to try a few for extended periods of time. At Sandy, any recommendations or what to look for in keycaps other than aesthetics? Why do people group by these? And then to me, also got the Keychron K8s. Are you considering mucking around with keycaps and switches on it, or is it just a buy and use situation for you? So I can tell you from my side, I will probably just be a buy and use situation. So I do not want to fall down the rabbit hole that Sandy's fallen down. But I have looked at those Keychrons and they're hot.
Keychron's doing great.
They are really beautiful keyboards. And I will probably pick one up in the near future, purely because I have a much smaller workspace now and I could do with a smaller keyboard that's not taking up like my whole desk. Yeah, over to you, keyboard master.
The Keychrons are a great choice for like a first board, and even like for a board you never replace, because I think they have a lot of like kits now as well in their Q series, I think, that are like up there with some of the more premium stuff you find that are harder to find. Group buying keycaps, don't do that. Okay. do that if you're willing to spend like $200-$300 on keycaps, like I did. Yeah, it's a lot of money, and I waited 2 years for mine to arrive. Ooh. And I love them. I really, really love them. But would I do it again? No, probably not. There are a lot of places where you can get really, really premium keycaps now. One place I know of that I really like, and I own like 2 keycap sets of theirs, is Novel Keys. They have their own brand of cherry profile keycaps that often go on sale for like $50. They are usually around about $80 to $100, which is not bad. And they've got a lot of really cool options on there for like different aesthetics. They are, so one thing to look for in keycaps, I would say, is if you're going to be using it a lot, I would ensure that they are PBT plastic as opposed to ABS. ABS is on a lot of premium keycaps, but they develop shine over time from the oils on your hands, whereas PBT resists that a lot more. Also, in any case, look for double shot keycaps. So that means the legends on your keycaps are actual plastic. They haven't just been like film printed on. So they'll never wear away over time. What the fuck just happened to my video?
Your video is gone.
Rip. Okay. So yeah, that's what I do for like a board that you are planning to use. In terms of like profiles, so Cherry, for example, is a profile of keycap. It's like the shape. It is the most used one, I would say, around the world, and the most compatible on most boards. You can muck around with other profiles. I've got a keycap set that's an MP profile, so it means all of the keycaps are the same height and the same, like symmetrically they're the same. It takes a bit getting used to like type on it, but I quite like it. But yeah, there's a lot to like get involved in there. I would say as a first thing to get into, get a set of cherry profile keycaps from like Novel Keys. Make sure they're PBT, make sure they're double shot, and make sure they look nice. There's something you won't mind looking at every day.
Oh my God, you're back.
And if you want to improve the sound of your keyboard without actually doing anything or buying anything extra, I would, from Novel Keys as well, they sell this, buy like a tub of lubricant. So usually it's a specification called 205 grade 0, so 205 G0. And I would just look up a video on YouTube on how to lube your stabilizers on your keyboard. So that's the stabilizers on your spacebar, your enter, and your backspace, and your one shift. Because if you just take the half an hour it takes to like remove those, lube them, put them back, the sound profile on your keyboard is going to be immensely better. Like, it is the one thing you can do to your keyboard that doesn't take a lot of money or time, and it's like 80% of why custom keyboards sound the way they do. So yeah, enjoy the hobby and feel free to ask more questions down the line.
So much sexual innuendo there.
It's always hard when you talk. Listen, there's a lot of keyboard freaks.
It's always
that I work
hard.
with,
Oh my
and
God.
whenever we talk about lube in the office, it's very tricky. You got to be very, very.
It's very hard.
Sure. What's the next question?
Just hard cuts in my face. You're like, you buy a tub of lube. I'm like, oh, excuse me? Lube your space. I'm like, oh, excuse me? Okay, last question. Let's just pivot away from that.
My goodness.
Oh my God, what is going on with my email here? Last question from Malesh. Do you guys remember your dreams? If so, do your games end up finding their way into them? So I dream a lot. It's very seldom. I could be wrong, but I think there are very few nights where I don't actually dream. And often when I wake up, I have very quick memories of like, oh yeah, like that was weird. I dreamt that, or this is what happened in my dream. And like, ask me 2 hours later, I would have forgotten most of the details, which means I should really I should write this shit down, because I dream some wild shit sometimes, but I can't tell you the details of many of my dreams because I forget as the day goes on. You know, dream information out, Jetsons information in. That's what my brain's all about. You know, keeping that good stuff. As for games popping up in my dreams, I think My dreams, it's anything and everything, from things happening in my current life to things that happened decades ago to things that don't exist. So I don't know. The brain is a weird and wonderful thing in that regard. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I don't know. I also I think I'm like you. I dream a lot. I remember bits and pieces. I don't always remember the full picture. I remember the if it makes sense, the like feeling that the dream evoked. So if a dream stressed me out, I won't maybe necessarily remember all the details, but I'll have that feeling of anxiety when trying to recollect it. So yeah, I sadly dream a lot when I'm stressed, and that usually manifests in like dreams about work or dreams about things in life that are happening. So games usually don't. I can't really say I remember any sort of dreams which are like where I was playing a game or was like in a game, you know, or like stuff like that. So I would 100% take that over some of the dreams I have. So yeah.
Also, do you ever, when you dream, do you ever think or realize like, hey, I'm dreaming, and you wake up immediately?
Yeah, every now and then it happens. It's like, oh, this is definitely a dream. And it's like,
it actually often happens to me where I'm like, hang on, this is a dream. I'm like, I can do anything or whatever I want. And I wake up, I'm like, oh, guess I'll fly in my next dream. It's cool.
That is a thing though, like people coming to the realization that they're in a dream and then manipulating the dream. Like I've read about how people are like, or people at least recollect that they were able to do that. Whether that was actually part of the dream or not is a different story. So yeah.
But
that sounds really cool.
It often happens to me though. Like I realize
at least neither of us seem to have waking dreams. You know, the thing where you have like sleep paralysis and then your brain is actually shut off. Because that sounds terrifying.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm a heavy sleeper. My eyes stay closed. That is all the questions for this week. I don't think we've got anything on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. So yeah, thank you for sending those through, Milesh. I'm glad I remembered them, because I'm usually very bad at remembering that sort of stuff.
If you want to be like Milesh and send us questions, you can to email us, checkpointchatpodcast@gmail.com, or you can find us on Twitter @checkpointchat, or where else? Other
just
social
everywhere.
Platforms, like pretty much everywhere. Yeah, pretty much everywhere.
Twitter, not X. We're never going to call it X.
Yeah, fuck that shit. No ways. And that's episode 231 of Checkpoint Chat. Thank you so much for bearing with us through some technical difficulties at the beginning and then just absolute rambles throughout. It's been a fun episode. I've enjoyed it. As always, we hope you have a delightful week. We thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time right here, same place, same audio place. I don't know, wherever you listen to your podcast. We'll see you there.
Cool. Bye.
Okay. Goodbye.